Hi, I'm Angie Veman, and welcome to Totally Clutch. This is the podcast for women like you to find ways to simplify your business and personal life. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe so you're notified when a new episode is posted. Welcome back to another episode of Totally Clutch, the Clutch Businesses podcast and vlog. I'm your host, Angie Veman with Clutch Businesses, and today we've got another amazing episode and another amazing guest. And so this is going to be in the newer format that we have where we're inviting business owners onto the show to talk about their biggest challenges and where they're kind of struggling, like where their joy is getting sucked completely out of them, and then work with them live on, together to find ways to make things more joyful and less sucky. So today we have Taya Binder, she owns the branding Minimalist, and she provides brand strategy, she provides copywriting, she provides web design to small business owners. And what's super exciting is that she recently launched a new membership program called Launch It Simple. And, in this club, she's going to be giving, like you'll have the opportunity to ask unlimited questions. You'll have the opportunity to get copywriting templates, marketing templates, content calendars, everything that you need basically to really blow up your marketing efforts in your business. And she is there with all of her expertise at your fingertips, any time of the day, really. And so that's what we're going to talk about because it's a new program for her. It's a new offering. There's a lot of stuff to sort out and a lot of stuff to get established so that, as excited as everybody is going to be that joins, she's not burning out and, all of a sudden this amazing thing becomes a huge burden. So I would like to invite Taya and welcome Taya onto the show.
Hey, Angie, thank you
Hey.
so much for having me. I'm so excited to do this interview.
Yeah, I'm so excited to have you here. And, we've had the opportunity to talk a couple of times in the last, couple of weeks. And this membership is so incredible. I think
Thank you.
there's a lot of choices out there. And I think there's a simplicity, launch it simple. There's a simplicity to what you're offering, but like an impactful simplicity, right? Like
Mm,
everybody needs these things. And so I think I'm just pumped that you're doing it.
Thank you. Me too. I'm so excited. And I love how you said, I think you said more joyful and less sucky. I really
Yeah.
resonate with that. That's definitely something that we're always striving for in entrepreneurship is to make money while doing the thing that we love.
Yeah. Yes. 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 So let's talk about how we can do that. So can we take a step back though and hear a bit about your background, how you came to do the work that you're doing, and a little bit about the work that you're doing?
Yeah, of course. So my background is probably very nonlinear. So I was a paramedic in New York City for about 2 years during the height of the pandemic. So that was really enlightening experience. But and even though I love the work that I did, plan, the only plan that I had was that I knew I didn't want to do this anymore. So I quit my job and I decided to start trying to make money online for myself. And I just took the skills that I had from the past. So I had really good writing skills. I had some design skills that I had never taken professionally. And I was like, what can I do that people really need and that I enjoy doing? And so that ended up being branding for me. I started my business in January. I got my first couple clients. I reached a pretty cool milestone in March when I made $5,000 in a week. And I think that made me take a step back, along with the fact that I had so many incredible testimonials from my clients. And it really made me overcome this imposter syndrome that we're kind of conditioned to feel. If you've never worked for yourself, you just have this feeling that, oh my God, who is going to pay me money to do something? And so, having gotten over that, I think, at a completely new level. And the way that Angie and I met is at this in person conference hosted by Rachel Rogers. It was called the Million Dollar Idea event. And so we went there to brainstorm our $1 million idea. And so, one of the most important criterias of a $1 million idea is that it is scalable. And I knew that the only way to scale my branding business would be to hire other people and essentially build an agency. But I also knew that looking at the day-to-day life that I want to live, being in charge of people and running a team is not exactly, it's not my ideal. It's not what I want to be doing on an hourly basis. And so I came up with the idea for this membership where I could bring all of the skills that I had learned in the past couple of months in helping all of my other clients to a broader audience and at a lower cost. And so I founded Launch It Simple, the membership. And in this membership, I help entrepreneurs who either are just getting started or they don't have a marketing team to outsource all of their promotional and advertisement actions to. I provide them with the resources to do it themselves. So those resources include copywriting templates, weekly coaching calls, tutorials on how to do reels, and basically giving them, oh, and content calendars, like giving them the blueprint and the tools to create content easily while also still being able to run their business. Because essentially, that's what we're doing when we're just getting started. We're building the plane and flying it at the same time. So, at the same time that you're so focused on client delivery, you have to continue marketing activities every single day so that you're still bringing in revenue and building some stream, some illusion of consistency, even though in business there is almost no such thing. But consistent marketing will lead to consistent results. And so that's what I've been helping people do in my membership.
That's amazing. And
Thank you.
I don't, yeah, I think I love, yeah, I love the simplicity of it. I love it's everything that you need. It's not a bunch of stuff that you don't. And, I will tell, so I actually had this situation with a friend the other day. She was recommending a content. I kind of like started getting a little more active on social media, and she was like, "Girl, I love it. And I want more of it." And, I have this amazing content calendar that I had, purchased from somebody at some point. And I was kind of like, okay, I'll look, because we've all seen these content calendars or these ideas for posts. And I will tell y'all, like that has changed significantly. Like these content
Mhm,
calendars are gold now. Like they
mhm,
really, because I think, the ones that came before were more like it still took a lot of energy to think about how to apply that to your business.
yeah,
And I think, that's where, if anybody out there is like me, that's where it becomes a huge suck. It's not fast, it's time consuming. You don't ever feel really awesome about it.
mm,
And
yeah,
you know that there's other things that could be out there. So I love that, you're feeding that to us in a really simple way and on a regular basis too. So it's
yeah.
not like nothing ever gets stale.
Yes, I love absolutely that is like one of the biggest selling points of the club, in my opinion, is that every single week you get a new template and it's either for a Facebook post or Instagram caption or an email, marketing email, either like a nurture email or a sales email that you want to send out. But you have eventually, there's going to be this huge library of content that you can choose from. But right now, in the beginning stages, you're still getting new content on a consistent basis.
Yeah, it's so great. It's so great. And reaching out to your audience in some way, shape, or form once a week is
Yes.
way better than not doing it at all, right?
Yes, that's what I tell people, at least you have no excuse to do one post a week or
Yeah.
reach out in one way.
Yeah, that's great. So tell us about some of the things that you foresee being an issue in terms of the delivery on your end, because I think, the clients or the members are going to be they're going to love whatever you're doing, but what are the things that you're concerned about that are, you're going to be kind of tripping over yourself, maybe not tripping over yourself, but you're going to be struggling to deliver for them.
Um, so I think that my biggest struggle will be to continue marketing this offer while also not skimping on the delivery because I would do want to show up. So I want to show up every single week in some way. So whether that's a guest interview or one of our bi-weekly coaching calls where people can submit questions in advance and get them answered, I do want to be extremely present And another really cool feature of the club is that people have unlimited questions. And I know that and that's kind of a dangerous thing, slippery slope for me to offer. But this is kind of what I realized that I want to be doing. So as I talked to you about before with the branding agency, I would have to be doing a lot of team management. But I realized, entrepreneurship is a journey on learning about yourself. And so having taken into account my Clifton strengths, for example, all of them are strategic strengths. So I know that, and I have almost no execution strengths. So I know that strategy, me providing people with a strategy, that is where I excel. And so answering even like 50 questions a day doesn't seem daunting to me because I love giving people the knowledge and tools to succeed. And actually implementing it is where I find that business is a bit of a drag for me. So, for instance, these done for you services that I offer, marketing them is extremely difficult because they're high four figure, high ticket offers. And then, even after selling them, actually executing on all of those has been, I realized that that is in my zone of excellence as opposed to my zone of genius. And so, that's why, starting the club was also like I did want to help more people at a more accessible price, but it was also for me. I did it for me because I know I want to stay in my strengths and my zone of genius. And so that's kind of how I've applied, like looking at myself, what I'm good at, and then what I actually want to do to building this new offer.
That's great. I love the intentionality around that because I think that's so important for people to hear how intentional you are about it because I think we often feel like we just kind of have to do things because that's how you do business, right?
Yeah.
Or that's the idea that I had, so that's what I'm going to right? Like there's just so many things that come up and so I love that you are like that's how you run a sustainable business is just being honest about what you're good at or what you're not. And that doesn't mean that you can't do certain things, but it means that you're going to be on the hunt and on the lookout for somebody else that can help you with those things, right?
Yes, and I might not have answered your question, but I think where I will be getting tripped up is probably my own systems and marketing. So I just want to have really robust automations in place to make sure that, if my marketing starts working overnight and 100 people want to join, that I have the capacity to take them on. So I know that's not a concern right now because I haven't even been doing any large scale marketing really, but for the future, I just want to be prepared. And so I think if anything keeps me up at night, it's worrying about that. Like, would everything crash if 100 people wanted to sign up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's awesome, and then just so that I'm clear, so the idea is that you would be freed up to focus on the marketing while the
Hmm.
membership is kind of just people are getting onboarded, on their own. You
Yeah.
are showing up to the calls,
Hmm.
but you're not doing a lot of having to do a lot of maintenance of the
Yeah,
membership itself. Okay. Okay,
exactly.
awesome. That's great. And so you've got the weekly calls, and are those going to be done in the Facebook? So you're building this predominantly off of a Facebook group, right? So
Yes.
people will
Hmm.
sign up, they'll come into the Facebook group. That's where you'll deliver the templates, that's where you'll deliver the calls, all of that kind of
Hmm.
stuff.
Yes. So
Okay.
actually, what I want to do is so that I'm able to talk to people because I know on Facebook I could only respond to comments. What I will be doing is hosting Zoom calls and then streaming it into Facebook at the same time.
Okay. So people can
Yeah.
watch the replay.
Yeah. So people can watch and be on video and then ask questions live as well.
Okay. And so but they will be able to be in the Zoom room. So you'll be able to, unmute them, show
Yes.
their face. Okay. And
Mhm.
so are you just going to have, this is actually something that a lot of people run into. The, so how do you have a plan right now for generating and sharing the Zoom link every week with people?
Yes, so I definitely want to send out. I do have everybody on an email list in ConvertKit who is in the club, so I definitely want to send out a weekly newsletter with everything that's on the schedule for this week and even for the upcoming weeks. And then those newsletters will include the Zoom link, and then a day before and also the day of, I do want to post it in the club as well.
Okay. Okay. And it'll be a different link every week.
No, actually, I think I will make a recurring meeting
Okay.
link.
Yeah, so that's
Asking the tough questions.
I know. It's and I ask because so many people run into this that I think one of the concerns that I've heard from clients is that, obviously that's so easy to have the
Hmm.
same link every time. But if you've got people that are joining and, hopefully not a lot of people are not going to be members after a while, but they'll still have access to that Zoom link. And
Yeah.
so that's just one, and everybody has dealt with it in different ways. Like some of them keep the same link for a month so that they're not having to
Hmm.
update it every week.
Yeah.
But I think there probably are, I don't know. Honestly, this is one that's kind of perplexed me too, that a way a way to integrate Zoom. Like there's a lot of ways to integrate Zoom in other ways, but there's not a way to auto generate meeting links based on
Okay.
certain or different meeting links. So anyways, we'll come back to that because I don't have an awesome solution, but just something to consider. And
That's a really good point.
obviously, yeah,
Hmm.
and obviously right now, as it's starting, not that big of a deal to just keep the
Yeah.
same link probably, because the people that join early on are probably going to be with you for quite some time, so you won't
Hopefully.
really run into that. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so you're going to send out the weekly email and then you've
Hmm.
got to create the templates, right?
Yes. Hmm.
Okay. And are you planning to batch those? The
Yeah,
creation
I
of
mean, I
those?
definitely
Okay.
should. That's what I should do. Will I do it is a very different question. I do want them to drop every single Tuesday. I came up with Template Tuesday just because I like alliterations and it sets a deadline for me. So I know you're going to ask me how I'm giving people the templates.
Yeah.
So basically right now I have a master Google Sheets and eventually, and I think we'll get to this later in the conversation, that I do want to host the content that I create on some sort of platform like Kajabi or something else. But for right now, since the Facebook group is my primary, it's my primary way to access everybody in the group. And since we're talking about how to launch as simple as possible, I just have a Google Sheets pinned to the top to the featured posts in the group so that people can access it at any time.
And does
And
that
that's
Google
what I've been
Sheet have
posting.
links to the files?
So right now I've just been copy pasting the words. So I have the template and
Oh,
then I
got it.
have an example of a post that I made for myself for my own club using the template so that people can see a real life example of how to actually implement it.
Okay. And where are you creating the templates? Like, are you using
So
Canva or something like that?
no, I'm just writing them in a Google Doc right now because I realized that if it was on Canva, it would actually make things more difficult for people to copy and paste something
Oh,
that already
I,
has an infographic. So I think for the templates, it is literally just the copywriting templates, like what
mhm.
that's really important right now. In the future, I might start offering graphic templates, so Canva templates, something like that, just to make people's posts more. But I think everybody's brand is so different that I would have to figure out a way that everybody could brand those visual templates to themselves. But the visual stuff is fun. You could spend a couple hours in Canva doing it, but I think what people really dread doing is the actual copywriting part. And so that's what I'm here to help with.
Yeah, okay. That's great. I mean, I think that's super smart the way that you have it laid out, or
Thanks.
the way that you have it set up. Yeah. The only challenge is that it does make it a little hard to batch it, right? Because if
Hmm.
they go in, if I'm understanding correctly, maybe that
Hmm.
is where I should start is so when they go into the Google Doc, it has last week's, it has this week's, it has
Hmm.
like 5 weeks ago. So it's all in one place.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's that I think that's really great. And it does create, a file that they can just dig through whenever they want.
Hmm.
But it does make it hard to batch it, right? Because if you're releasing just one a week, you
Yeah.
actually have to go in there then on Tuesday and put that information in there.
Yeah, so every Tuesday I do at least have to take an action I'm not sure if it can be automated. I haven't definitely have not found a way to automate it yet, but I think I can batch create them in my own file on my own computer and then upload it sequentially every single Tuesday.
Wow, I am gonna be honest, this one is so I kind of assumed that you were gonna be doing, image posts or something like that, and I was like, "Oh, this is so great," because, Canva, you can actually post directly to the group. Um,
Oh,
yeah, and you can schedule it in advance, so you can go in
oh
and
wow.
create them, and then just, like, when it's done, hit schedule, tell it where you want it to post and when,
Mm-hmm.
and that's it. So it's really great for batching in that way, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But with the copy, that's a little tricky. Let's see, how would you do that? So I wonder if, and what format is it important for them? So they're just copying and pasting it out of a cell in
Mm-hmm.
Excel, right? Okay.
Yes.
I wonder if there's a way that, and then are you gonna be emailing them out regularly too? Like, each time that
Um,
they are added to the Google Doc,
yeah,
they'll also get
I've
an
thought
email?
about that, but so far I've been posting the template in the club, the one that has, the fill in the blanks and what to put into each blank, and then I'll comment my version of it so that they can see both side by
Mm,
side without even going into the Google Sheets if they don't want to access that.
mhm. 'Cause I'm thinking that maybe if there's, wow.
So it's
I mean,
possible
it's
that those posts could
just,
be scheduled in advance.
yeah, totally. Yeah,
Yeah, and then I could just
totally.
add them to the Google Sheets later on.
So, you know what? Okay, this is it. If you, so this might be, so if you're creating your example in something like Canva or another platform, right? It might not matter which platform, but as soon as that posts to the Facebook group, you can set up an automation that will automatically add it to the
Mm,
Google Doc. Is like, so
okay.
um, if you have, like, if your post contains both of those things, the example and the actual content, or what
Mhm.
they would grab and copy and work on their own, as soon as it posts in the Facebook group, it can be added to that Google Sheet.
Okay, so how would I do that?
So that would probably require a Zap. So you could
Okay.
set up a Zapier integration
Mhm.
where you just say, when a post is created. And I guess this is really, so maybe this is a question I should ask first is, are you going to be doing regular posts outside of the templates in the Facebook group?
Yes.
Okay. Because I guess the Zapier would set it up so that everything everything that you post would get added to that document, not,
Oh
and it
no.
wouldn't be able to, yeah. So I bet there's a way though that we could filter the document so that it's only showing certain things. Like, I bet you could filter the document so that it only shows posts that are done on Tuesdays, if that's the day that you're always going to
Okay.
do. Yeah. So
That could work.
if they unfilter it themselves,
Mhm.
they'll see all the stuff. But that
Yeah.
might not be the worst thing in the world because they're seeing how you're kind of, they get an example of how you're rocking it. Right.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I bet there's a way that we could just set up the document to present in a certain way.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, I guess that would be my suggestion for that because it is
Oh.
really simple. And
Mhm.
obviously, if as you develop, or if you even want to develop that more, there's more, there's more that we can do with that. But
Mhm.
it's actually really lovely the way that you have it set up.
Thank you. Yep, I
Yeah,
just went with the simplest, absolute simplest thing possible with the lowest activation energy. So I'm glad
amazing.
to have an automation expert confirm that it's not the
Yeah.
worst thing in the world.
Yeah, it's not. And I also think that's, really beautiful in the sense that, at least I suffer from that disease of like thinking that I have to look sometimes like a $10 million business with like, a whole design team and a whole, right? Like, and that, what I have seen actually with a lot of my clients is that kind of stuff actually, it, the participants don't get the same results, like, because
Mm,
there's just a, I don't know, it just, they're just not as engaged with it.
mm,
And so I think this is really nice, and I think it'll work really well for them, especially because it's
mhm.
focused on copy.
Okay,
um,
so can you tell us more about what would make people lose engagement, or what you've experienced that your clients have lost engagement with their own clients as a result of implementing a system that's a little bit more complicated?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a dirty little secret in the online coaching and online course world that most
Mm-hmm.
people don't complete when they purchase a course, most of them don't complete the actual coursework. So
Mm,
logging, I mean, I would say that, I don't know if this is, I'm not going to say numbers, but a decent number of people will sign up for a course and never even log in to the platform. So they might engage in a Facebook group, or, in weekly live meetings and things like that, but they actually never log in. And this is not everybody, but a good number of people will never even log in to the course platform. So
mm,
that doesn't mean that the people that don't get something from it, right? And that's
yeah,
their choice to not do that. They're obviously getting something, something else that they need in those other things. But I think, there is, that's just, that's another place that they have to go. They have to
yeah,
log in, they have to, dedicate the time. And I think the thing that I'm hearing over and over again from students, from other business owners, is that people really are looking for that accountability. And so
mm,
showing up live to a call is, it's, there's not somebody like telling you that you have to do that, but, and
yeah,
there's not somebody saying, did you do what we talked about last week necessarily? But there's something
mm,
about engaging, or being a part of a group that really helps a lot of people. And that's not to say that there aren't people that, don't totally rock it out on their own, working through things,
yeah,
solo. But I think there's a lot of people that are developing all of this content. They're building out these beautiful, these huge platforms that they're paying a lot of money for, and the
mm,
students aren't necessarily using that. And
yeah,
so I think, in your case, the simplicity, simplicity is important, and also the engagement is important, and them like actually using the things that you're giving them. And so I think, you're kind of checking all of the boxes in terms of what's going to make it likely for them to actually use that content. So you are, housing it in one central location, so that they have one place, they don't have to dig around and find all of this stuff.
mm-hmm,
And they're just going to one place to do it. So they're going to Facebook to
mm-hmm,
have conversations, they're going to Facebook to get the content that you're giving them, they're going to Facebook to ask you questions, right? Like, there's just one place. And so that's a
mm-hmm,
long way to get to. I think what makes it hard for people to complete or utilize what they are getting in these memberships and courses is having more than one place that they have to go to do all the things, right? So,
yeah. And you
yeah,
also mentioned the cost barrier to using those platforms. So can we just talk about how
totally.
expensive Kajabi is if you're
Yeah.
just starting out with your membership?
Yeah, so Kajabi is amazing. I think it's, it has quickly become the favored kind of course platform because it does everything. It does,
Yeah.
you can email, you can host the videos, you can, so